American Athletic Conference on ESPN2 College Football Primetime from Downey-Ficklin Stadium in Greenville, North Carolina. A huge matchup in the American between 22nd ranked Temple, ranked 22nd in the nation, going for their first 7-0 start in school history as they face the East Carolina Pirates. Look at the American standings. 21st ranked Houston, 18th ranked Memphis, as well as Navy, all unbeaten in the West. This is a huge game in the East, with Temple right now a game in front of ECU. Along with Quinn Kesnick down on the field and former collegiate NFL linebacker Ray Bentley, I am Mark Neely. Great to have you along tonight on a very pleasant night for football in Greenville. Ray, last week against Central Florida, Temple trailed entering the fourth quarter for the first time all year, but Jahad Thomas took over.
Yeah, it was Jahad time, no doubt, in the fourth quarter. He's worked very hard in this last off-season, building up the strength and endurance to be able to handle 25 or so carries in a ball game and then be better in the fourth quarter. And you see he popped a couple of big runs to salvage this game for Temple and keep them undefeated on the season.
Thomas will play tonight, won't start because of an academic punishment, but do expect to see a lot of Jahad Thomas carrying the football for Temple in this game. Now, Ray, a couple of complimentary quarterbacks play for East Carolina. Both see significant minutes. Who starts tonight?
It's going to be the man on the right, James Summers, getting the start tonight. Blake Kemp on the left has been starting, but they've decided to switch it up and go with Summers tonight. Two different guys, really, as far as what they do, not only one being left-handed and the other right. Kemp is the passer, very accurate, throwing the football down the field, can drop in the deep ball extremely nicely, right like that, and he gives you that dimension. Now, an entirely different deal when James Summers gets in the ball game. He's an outstanding runner, and that opens up play-action passes, just like the one you see right there for 6 points.
Well, Temple won the toss and deferred, so ECU will receive to begin the game, which is not unusual for East Carolina. Matt Rhule in his third season as the head coach for Temple. This is the fourth time in Temple's 121 years of college football that they've started 6-0. Ray, they've never started 7-0. They have a chance to make school history tonight.
And that's what they're talking about doing, and they're garnering national attention. And Matt Rhule says he just stays in his office.
Quay Johnson from a couple yards deep across the 20, brought down at the 23-yard line by Artrell Foster. Third member of our broadcast team is down on the field. Quinn Kesnick. Q has more on the two-quarterback system for ECU.
It's going to take both quarterbacks to win this game, the words of Ruffin McNeil. You mentioned how different their styles are, and that was the challenge for Matt Rhule, head coach at Temple this week. They actually dressed a wide receiver on the scout team to play the part of James Summers. They have a lefty walk-on quarterback as well, but he said they relied on their virtual reality system. That's a 3D system where their scout team inputs the plays, and mentally they were able to get a lot of reps on the road both last night and today in their hotel rooms.
Q, thanks. Playing the part of James Summers here on the field is James Summers, and he takes the snap, looks to throw on first down across the middle, and just out of reach, incomplete, looking for Davon Grayson.
Alex Wells is the one who kind of got in the way there, as you see Summers and the numbers he's put together. Very good completion percentage, but the thing he does best is run the football, and they do a lot of neat things in the quarterback run game.
Gives it to Chris Hairston, who's immediately hit and brought down. He may lose a half yard or so. Praise Martin Oguike, number 50, with the tackle.
And I'm a little bit surprised that they start Summers and yet come out and throw the ball on the first down and then hand it off on the second down, because his forte, his strength, is carrying the football.
So it's third down and 11. Summers in the pocket, overthrows Hairston. That is a pass attempt incomplete. And a very quick 3 and out on a drive that goes -1 yard.
Not the start that the Pirates envisioned. And again, I'm a little confused on why they didn't put Summers in there and let him run the football. I'm sure he'll get his opportunities throughout the evening.
Worth Gregory on to punt.
Matt Rhule talked to us about their punt rush team, and they said they were going to go after some punts here tonight. See if they start out that way.
Gregory gets the punt away. A short one taken at the 38-yard line by Sean Chandler. Hit at the 45, breaks that tackle. Then he's met at midfield and swarmed under there. Dayon Pratt and a host of others. A 39-yard punt, 13-yard return for Chandler. It'll be very good starting field position right near midfield for Temple. P.J. Walker brings his offense out. You've seen the progression in Walker over the years. Just doesn't seem like better decision-making, Ray.
Yeah, without a doubt. And they really have kind of changed the offense. Last year, it was a spread offense, and they had him throwing the football and running it more. This year, they've gone to a lot of two-back, heavy-type personnel, and he's handing it off and making play-action passes, and he's made great decisions in that offense.
Walker throws out to Adonis Jennings, the tight end, out of bounds at the 41-yard line. He picks up about 3 or 4. Trayvon Simmons running him out. Well, here comes Jahad Thomas. So the academic punishment lasted a couple of plays.
Not surprising. You know, it happened previously in their game against Tulane, and he missed the first couple of series.
Second down and 6. Walker gives to Thomas. Montez Overton has really played well for ECU in recent weeks. Now a late flag comes out after a gain of 3.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 99. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, that's one of the defensive ends. Fred Presley called for the personal foul, and that's 2 major penalties against ECU on this drive.
And Presley tried to plead his case, but the umpire is not hearing it, not having any of it. That's Nicholas Pergine, the umpire tonight. And so far, it's been all Pirate penalties that is moving Temple down the field.
Gives the Owls a first down at the 22-yard line of ECU. Gardner the back. And he's met at the 20 by Montez Overton. P.J. Walker, that is, the quarterback, for a gain of a couple.
And that is one thing Matt Rule spoke about, as did Marcus Satterfield, the offensive coordinator. They're going to get P.J. Walker involved in the run game a little bit more. And when you do that, you'd like to do it particularly in this area of the field, down in the red zone where things shrink, and it gives you an extra hat to block.
Thomas the back on second down and 8. With the Pirates 20. In motion, the fullback Felton. Swung out to Thomas. He avoids one tackler, then finds the sideline, and he's brought down inside the 15 at the 14-yard line by Giannis Bowden, a gain of 6. They had a chance to get him, though.
Yeah, Deshaun Amos had a shot at him in the backfield. He read the play, came up, and just basically whiffs on midair. But I'm amazed at Thomas's ability to make the catch and then make the move. He had to have one eye on Amos and the other on the ball to make that play.
Third and short, third down and 2. The drive that began at the Temple 41, but has been aided by a couple of big penalties against the Pirates. Walker hands off to Thomas, makes a spin move and has the first down, keeps the legs moving inside the 10, wrapped up by Trayvon Simmons, and it will be first and goal Owls.
That's a perfect example of the quickness and the vision of Jahad Thomas. He does that little hop step that you see backs do, keeping both feet close to the ground and then finding a crack and getting up in there. It was a pretty nice little run there. He could have been stopped in the backfield now, 2 plays in a row.
Almost got stripped of the football, but hung on. First and goal from just inside the 10. Walker gives to Thomas. He's bumped down right near the line of scrimmage by Zeke Bigger, the impressive senior middle linebacker. No gain.
And Bigger's an outstanding football player. He's got a real knack for getting up in there and finding the ball carrier and meeting him at the pass. That's so important when you're playing a linebacker. It's almost like you're a running back without the football trying to find the hole. And Biggers does a great job of it.
Bigger with his team-leading 59th tackle of the season. Looking towards the end zone. Throws it underneath. Incomplete. In and out of the hands of John Christopher.
And that was good patience by P.J. Walker, sitting in there and finding a little bit of space in the pocket to make the throw, and that should have been caught by Christopher as Walker got it through a little window there.
8th play of the drive coming up here.
This is where Temple likes to get a little tricky. Not often do they do it, but when they do, it's always down in this area of the field.
3rd and goal in motion is Shippen. Walker being pressured, avoids one. Avoids being tripped up, runs out of bounds at around the 12. Montese Overton had an opportunity to get him in the backfield, but they still run him out, and they'll settle for a field goal attempt.
Walker is going to try and escape. Initially, it's great coverage down the field. You got a free blitzer coming, and that should have been a sack by Overton, who leads this team with 7.5 sacks, but Walker proved to be too quick, and he got out of there and salvaged this opportunity for field goal.
29-yard attempt for Austin Jones, who's 8 of 9 this year, as long as 40 near the left hash. And out of the hole to Tom Bradway.
Jones having a much better season.
Gets it away and good. So Temple does settle for the 3 points, but they score first. The 6-0 Temple Owls score first tonight here in Greenville. First, Temple trying to go to 7-0 for the first time in school history.
I like what Matt Rule does, and the whole way he runs his program. He's all about hard work, hard-nosed, physical, tough style football, and he gets into it and fights for his team. And he's an up-and-coming coach, Mark, that Temple will be fortunate, I think, to hold on to.
They've done a tremendous job. Just 40 years old, 9th youngest head coach in the FBS. Johnson this time from about 4 yards deep will take a knee.
Blake Kemp has checked in at quarterback, Mark, and you're going to see if he can get things going. Maybe settle this team down. They've been their own worst enemy in terms of all the penalties tonight.
Right now, ECU has more penalty yards than total yardage, so we'll see how Kemp fares. First play, gives it. Hairston down the middle of the field. 30, 25, brought down near the 20. Run down by Alex Wells and Nate L. Smith. A long run for Hairston at 39 yards.
And you don't see this very often against this Temple defense, which is number 8 in the country in terms of run defense, allowing just 91.7 yards a game. And Hairston kind of splashed on the scene in the game against Temple last year.
Kemp throws across the middle, the catch made, but then immediately dropped there is Isaiah Jones, a gain of 5 with that catch. Jones is first of the night, so he now has a streak of 31 consecutive games with a grab.
Well, he'll remember that one because Avery Williams put a good pop on him.
Like some movement on that far side. A shot towards the end zone. A little jump ball incomplete for Jones right near the pylon. Did Kemp think he had a free play there?
I believe he did. The crowd certainly did. And I don't know. Jacob Martin definitely was into the neutral zone, but the line judge over there thought he got back far enough. He was looking right at it. It was on that hash, and apparently Martin got back in time.
So they did not throw a flag. And it makes it a 3rd down and 5. Kemp standing tall, but now he's in trouble. Sacked back at the 24-yard line by Avery Robinson.
And it was Reddick who really made the play, number 58. He got around the edge and forced Kemp up into the pocket, and that's where Robinson was waiting for him. See that right side. That's just a really good speed rush by Reddick, who was only 225 pounds. That's an interesting thing Temple does, Mark, with the defensive ends. They're smaller, faster guys who run the hoop around the edge.
Davis Plowman's long this year is 41 yards. This is a 40-yard attempt. Has the distance, but wide left. So ECU misses a chance to tie it.
Right, another error by the Pirates. And the Owls are a slow starting team. They've only scored 27 points, actually make it 30 now in the first quarter so far this season.
Looking to throw on first down. Walker going deep and overshoots the intended receiver at the 35-yard line.
Trying to get it to Adonis Jennings, but I like the idea of taking a shot down here on first down. That's going to loosen up that defense a little bit, and it'll make those secondary guys think twice before joining the party against the run.
Walker hands off. Thomas running left, cuts it back upfield. Stutter steps across the 30, now breaks all the way across the 45 and then brought down from behind by Ray Tillman, a 19-yard run.
And he really got stopped by his tight end, Colin Thompson, as much as anything else. He almost got the edge, and then he cuts it back. And that's the thing with the vision of a cutback runner. He can bounce out and cut it back. And then you see his own guy kind of impeded his progress. Thompson, the tight end, trying to get down there and get a little, give him a little help, and instead got his fingers in the cake.
Rockwell Armstead has been dealing with a hamstring issue now in as the tailback. First down, Owls from their 47. Walker lets it go to the far side, has a man open there. Did he get it in bounds? No. Robbie Anderson targeted for the first time tonight. Could not bring it down in bounds.
Boy, Anderson had a nice double move, and out and up, and he was wide open. Got behind Josh Hawkins, and P.J. Walker is going to hate himself in the morning when he watches this play over again, because all he had to do was lead it inside a little bit more, and that's a huge play. In fact, with a good throw, Anderson's going to put 6 points on the board with that one.
Walker now 2 of 9 through the air for just 11 yards, and no question Anderson did not get a foot down. 2 of 5, that is, through the air. Walker broke.
Stayed up.
Yep, that's Armstead, who broke a tackle at the 45 and is able to get about another 5 or 6 yards out of that. Demaje Bailey looked like he had him.
Yeah, and I think the rest of the Pirate defense thought he had him too. And that's, if you let up like that, that back can bust it out and go the other way. This is just a great effort by Armstead, the true freshman back, of maintaining balance and continuing to fight through the play.
Well, we come to the end of the first quarter. The only points, the 28-yard field goal from Temple's Austin Jones. We begin the second quarter from Greenville, North Carolina. Big matchup between Temple, ranked 22nd and unbeaten on the year, against East Carolina. 3-0 Owls lead. They face a 3rd down and 6 from the 49 of ECU to begin this second quarter.
Looks like the Pirates are going to play coverage in this one.
Low snap, and Walker just has to jump on it.
Looks like they got it back. Walker got on it, but this has been an issue for Kyle Friend. He's a Remington award list watch guy, and rightly so, but every once in a while he'll be low and to the right on a snap, and that time it was costly in a critical 3rd down situation.
Alex Starzyk punting for Temple. Quay Johnson at his own 10.
Boomed it.
Nice punt over the head of Johnson and rolls into the end zone for the touchback. 54-yard punt. ECU from their own 20 with Blake Kemp at quarterback. Kemp, play action. Time now rolling out, and the lefty throws to the sideline. Jones at the 32. That is a completion. Nadell Smith on the coverage, a first down after a gain of 11.
Nice little play, keeping the foot in. Very close to being out of bounds.
Quick strike out to the edge Trayvon Brown pushed out by Sean Chandler. ECU picking up the tempo here, Ray, after a gain of 6. Well, Ray, your college football playoff projections.
Yeah, no partisanship here. I got the Sparties at #1. They're going to run the table. Baylor, Alabama. I don't think they're going to lose again, maybe until the playoffs. And Stanford is quietly creeping back up. They're in that #10 spot.
You may be the only one in America with those 4, but that doesn't mean that's wrong. Quay Johnson.
Well, I've been called a prophet. Not by anybody who really knows anything, but hey, I'll take it.
Johnson, the sophomore in Knightdale High School in North Carolina. His 10th catch of the season.
I like the tempo pickup from this East Carolina football team. They need something to shake things up.
Quick strike, they try, but it's thrown by Kemp behind Trayvon Brown, incomplete.
I'm not sure Kemp had the grip on the football. Tried to get it out of there so quickly. I don't think he had it.
Well, 4th and 3, and they're in that area, Ray.
Yeah, go for it. You're at home. The kicker's already missed one. You got a little momentum going with this group. Take a chance.
Try it again. This time he connects. Must have had a better grip on the football that time, Ray.
Yes, definitely did. I was able to see it. And I like his motion. It's so short and quick. It looks like Blake Kemp is throwing darts. And that one was a bullseye.
4th and 3, they gain 8 on the pass to Trayvon Brown, and a first down at the 19 of Temple.
Really nice play call there by Dave Nickel, going back to the same play because Temple was playing off with their corner.
Line up Bryce Williams in the backfield. Lead blocker for Scott, who cuts it back, but a nice tackle by Matakevich in the open field to prevent that from being a much bigger play than the 4-yard gain.
Matakevich does an outstanding job of keeping leverage on the football. When you're the backside linebacker, you cannot get overextended and get past where the ball is going. It's his job to close that back door, and he slammed it.
Kemp on 2nd and 6, play fake, a shot dangerously thrown, but it's caught and near the end zone, but he's just a little short. Isaiah Jones, gain of 14. I tell you what, Kemp threaded this pass.
Yeah, he did, and this is a pop pass. It's very difficult for the linebackers because of the run fake, and nobody gets back into that area to break it up.
Handed off Hairston, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown. 7th rushing touchdown of the year for Chris Hairston. And East Carolina grabs the lead with 9:02 to play in this first half.
Another good job of blocking up front. Matau, the center, was able to get his head into the hole to open things up. Ike Harris had a nice block. It seems like the left side of the line is where the Pirates have been able to get it done more so tonight.
Davis Plowman's point after is good. A 14-play drive that goes 80 yards.
And this one was all set up by the throw down the sideline, getting the Pirates in that field position, then popped it over the middle, and you get to finish it off with a little touchdown run, and East Carolina takes the lead 7-3.
East Carolina has taken a 7-3 lead after a long touchdown drive, 14 plays. With just over 9 minutes left in the first half, Pirates lead for the first time. 14 plays, 80 yards rate. It took 5 minutes and 13 seconds, which ECU is such a hurry-up offense. That's just their 2nd scoring drive this season that's lasted more than 5 minutes. Jagger Gardner and Avery Williams back deep for Temple. Gardner will take a knee. Deep drop, Walker fires, caught in a first down up at the 45-yard line. That's Adonis Jennings, 21-yard gain.
And what made this one work was the protection, because P.J. Walker was able to sit in there and allow the time for Jennings to come open. I mean, look at him. That's a clean pocket right there, and any quarterback worth his salt, when you get that kind of time and that kind of room and throwing lane, you're going to find a guy that's open, and he did.
He keeps the drive going. Walker hands off. Thomas looking for room, but doesn't find much. He gets back to the line of scrimmage before he's wrapped up by Fred Presley. No gain.
Great discipline on the edges by this Pirate defense. Presley makes the tackle in the middle, but Jahad Thomas wanted to get outside. But so far tonight, the Pirates have put an extra man, one on each outside off of the tight end area, and they are not letting Thomas get to the edge.
Chris Temple has Notre Dame coming up next Saturday night on Halloween on ABC. Can't look ahead to that, no question. Here's Walker. Throws a strike, and that's reeled in at the 40, and a spin move made by Vintel Bryant all the way up to the 32-yard line of ECU. A 22-yard gain.
Vintel Bryant, the redshirt freshman, has really stepped up and become a primary target for P.J. Walker. And he's got the big size and the ability to run after the catch. Outstanding hands. He's going to be a good, in fact, he might be their best receiver right now, although Robbie Anderson fans might beg to differ. Temple's got to get something going on first down tonight. 8 plays, just 13 yards on first downs. A lot of them have been them shots, incomplete passes.
They're averaging less than 2 yards on first down. Here's a pitch. Thomas now hands it off. He's going to throw it to the end zone. Incomplete. Anderson, the receiver, Christopher, threw it, and a little bit underthrown.
And Trayvon Simmons really made up some time as this ball's in the air, because he was beat initially. But because, as you said, that ball hung up there a little bit, that allowed him to close the gap and make the play on Anderson. But Anderson initially was a good 3-4 yards behind everybody.
So they take a shot at the end zone, but come up with nothing on first down again. Second down and 10 and out of the eye. Walker takes a shot again, and this time in and out of the hands of Vintel Bryant. He had it for a moment, but it was punched out by Trayvon Simmons right near the goal line.
How about Simmons making back-to-back plays from that free safety, that center field position? He saved the bacon for Rocco Scarfone, because Vintel Bryant had him beat, and the throw was a little bit short. Had he been able to lay it out there a little bit longer, I don't think that Simmons would have been able to make that play.
Yeah, Simmons' hit definitely jarred it loose before Bryant really had possession. Third down and 10. So they've taken 2 shots at the end zone the last couple of plays. So Christopher in motion. Find him at the 30-yard line. At the 25 stood up as Kip Patton.
Close.
Wow, with that extra effort at the end, the spot will be key.
Yeah, Darius Commission came in there and really kind of helped Temple with the hit from behind. Made it very close. And it looks to me like Matt Rhule is going to roll the dice and go for it here on 4th down.
4th and 1. Ball just inside the 23 of ECU, and indeed Temple breaks the huddle to go for it on 4th and short. Sharga's the fullback, Jahad Thomas the tailback. Give it to Thomas, and he has it. Nice block by Sharga. You know, Nick Sharga's a guy who's also a middle linebacker, plays both ways. He had a key block there to clear the way.
Yeah, he sure did. I mean, he came up and hit Deshaun Benton, and that's a safety. And you had Benton just stepping up into the hole, but it's a mismatch with Sharga and his size against the safety, Benton. And that created the room for Thomas.
So Temple converts on 4th down. And first down at the 21 of the Pirates. Walker throws out the screen pass to Robbie Anderson. He's tripped up and down at the 10. Looks like he'll have the first down to make it 1st and goal. Trayvon Simmons tripped him up, a gain of 11.
Had some really nice blocking there. Kip Patton, he got his guy. John Christopher got his guy. And the timing of these blocks was what really made this play go. Just perfect timing. Boom, there. You got the cut block on the inside. That's what opened it up for Anderson. He was very close, a shoestring away from busting that one out the back end.
Frank Sharga right back in there as the fullback on 1st and goal. And this is the 12th play of this drive for Temple. From the eye with Sharga the fullback, Thomas the tailback. Give to Jahad Thomas.
There's
runs
the
right, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown. Sharga again with a nice block. And Thomas bouncing it right and into the end zone. First touchdown of the night for the Owls. And for Jahad Thomas, his team-leading 11th rushing touchdown of the year.
And we've been tracking the bounce yards for Jahad Thomas tonight. And those, you add those two to his previous total of 4. He's got 6 so far. And generally, that's where he gets his big runs and a lot of his yardage. That time he sold it up inside very nicely, drew the defense in, and then used the speed to get to the edge.
Point after, Austin Jones knocks it through. And with just under 3 minutes to go in the first half, Temple back up by 3.
And this is an ideal situation. Jahad Thomas takes it up into the gut, then busts it outside. Nobody home. He uses that speed and deception to give Temple the lead.
Look ahead a week. You got the Temple Notre Dame game in Philadelphia on Halloween night, 8 Eastern on ABC. Maybe if Temple wins this game, perhaps game day winds up in South Philadelphia.
That would be great. I'd love to see that. I think the Temple fans would love to see that as well. Where would they do it? On the steps by the Rocky statue?
That brings up a lot of interesting ideas for perhaps where they would go in Philadelphia. Kemp, the quarterback for ECU. Kemp drops back, dumps it off down to the back Hairston, and he's going to be tackled for a loss back at the 19. So that right out of the chute's going to lose 6 thanks to DB Sean Chandler making the tackle.
And that was read immediately by this experienced veteran Owl defense. It didn't have a chance really from the get-go. There wasn't a lot of pressure on Kemp because the defensive line for Temple sniffed out the screen right away.
Top of the screen, you got the tight end Bryce Williams. They throw to him, just the 2nd catch for him in this game, and he's immediately swarmed under for no gain there. Q?
Yeah, Williams has been very quiet. There's a handful of NFL scouts here taking this Thursday night opportunity to watch him in person. It's a weak tight end class, the seniors this year. They like his versatility, the fact that he can line up as an H or a fullback. They think he's got to bulk up a little, but 2 catches in this first half. I expected to see him featured a little more strongly.
It came in with 33 catches, 2nd most in the ECU staff there, 3 TD catches, but
he's really worked his tail off, getting strength and getting better with his hand in the ground and blocking.
Kemp on 3rd and long. First down to midfield. Trayvon Brown had to stop, wait for it. Almost made a 1-arm catch, and he gains 30 up to midfield.
And he got behind the defense. Delvon Randall, the freshman safety back there, kind of bit up on the run fake along with others. And you cannot let your eyes get off the prize. You got to key the guy you're supposed to be keying. If you get your eyes into that backfield, you can fall prey to a pass just like we saw there.
So 1:45 to play. East Carolina does have 2 timeouts. This is Furlow, the freshman, just inside the 45. Matakevich a tackle after a gain of 4.
Another tackle for Matakevich. All over the field.
Matakevich has led Temple in tackles in every game this year. He's the only FBS player to do so, though, for his team.
He's had 100+ tackles in each of his previous 3 seasons and on pace for another 100 this year.
Kemp is going to run to the sideline and step out of bounds at the 40. About a yard shy of the first down. Picks up 5. I think he gets a pretty good spot just inside the 40.
Nice decision there. Kemp not throwing it into coverage as his receivers were all covered up pretty good. And they're bringing Summers into the game now.
Interesting. Yeah. Summers in.
That short yardage situation, I asked Coach McNeil if they would change, play by play rather than series. And he said they'll do it by situation.
A 3 of 7 on third down. Summers somehow kept his feet when he was hit in the backfield by Nate L. Smith and scooted forward and is able to get the first down.
And that's got to drive Phil Snow, the defensive coordinator for Temple, crazy, because he called the right defense. He had a blitzer coming in, knew what was going on, and just didn't execute and finish and make the tackle. Nate L. Smith.
Kemp right back in at quarterback. Kemp from the pocket, dropped. Isaiah Jones, usually very sure-handed.
Jones hasn't really seen a lot of attention thus far yet tonight in terms of balls being thrown at him. Just 3 catches for 30. He's the leading receiver on this team, coming in with 51 grabs.
Most of the snaps for Kemp, even though Summers was the starter. Kemp steps up, throws, but underthrows the receiver at the 26-yard line, Trayvon Brown.
Every once in a while, Kemp will pull the string on a pass like that. And I think it has to do with the short motion that he has. If he doesn't get his legs and body set, he's not able to put enough mustard on the ball because of that short motion. He uses so much body in his throws and that hip twist to generate his power.
3rd and 10. Kemp going to the far side. At the 10, incomplete for Grayson. Matched up with Tavon Young, and then a little help late from Alex Wells.
And Young wanted that interception, and he had a shot at it. He did a great job of knowing when to get turned back around and look for the football, and that's why he made this play. You see his eyes. He's able to turn and make the play on the ball. A little underthrown. And another one from Kemp that needs to be a little bit further down the field and farther outside as well.
About to go for it on 4th and 10. Kemp throws across the middle for Williams, and the tight end has the first down. At the 16, they'll stop the clock to move the chains with 31 seconds left, a 21-yard gain.
And when you have a 6'6" target like Williams is, you can make plays like that.
They spike it to stop the clock and preserve that last timeout. Well, a few more seconds rolled off the clock.
And this is just throwing it up with a taller player. Watch how close Matakevich comes to getting a hand on this. Just missed it.
28 seconds. 28 seconds. Thank you.
But when you have a receiver that's 6'6" and can jump, you can throw it up over that linebacker and not worry about it sailing into a safety's hands behind him, because Williams is going to go up and make a play on the ball. But he's a pretty good rebounder.
Put a few seconds back on the clock to 28. After the spike, 2nd and 10 from the 16. Kemp throws to the near side, and did he keep the feet in? He did. Nice grab by Isaiah Jones.
That's precision right there, using every inch of the field. Kemp making the throw to the sideline. He threw it before Jones made his cut. This is what they like and love, actually, about Blake Kemp, when he gets in a groove like he's in right now.
3rd and 1 from the 7. Kemp underneath, caught it to 4 and into the end zone. Touchdown, ECU, Davon Grayson. Quay Johnson, that is, with the score. First touchdown catch of the season for Quay Johnson.
And this, to me, was all Blake Kemp. His ability to keep it alive and his movement in the pocket bought him the time necessary for Johnson to come open. See how he dipped away there from the blitzing, or actually the rushing Ioannidis? That bought him the time for Johnson to come open and get it in there.
Flag on the extra point. It was knocked through.
This second half, stick around. I think it's going to be a bit of a barn burner if it continues the way it is, back and forth. These two teams throwing haymakers.
And Temple 6-0 overall, 3-0 in conference play. ECU 4-3 overall, but just a game behind Temple in the East Division at 2-1. So as Temple heads to the locker room, they are down by 4 with their unbeaten season on the line. Let's send it down to Quint with Coach Ruffin McNeil.
Coach, you had a 4th and 10 right there. Bryce Williams makes a reception. What were your options?
I go for it pretty much on both down, but great execution right there. Great read by Blake, and Bryce is a big-time player, made a big-time play.
What's the deal with the penalties, Coach?
Just got to settle down. Early on, we just look excited about the game, and, great team, and I got to settle them down. That's the first objective, settle them down and play smart. We talked about not stopping ourselves, but we didn't do a very good job of that first half, but I'm going to get it fixed.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Coach McNeil, Q, thanks very much. You bet. 14-10, ECU leading Temple here at the half. Coming up after the break, the Land Rover halftime report with Adnan Vert, Joey Galloway, and Danny Cannell. Good one going here in Greenville. 14-10, Pirates at the half. Welcome back to the American Athletic Conference on ESPN2. College football prime time. A big game in the American East Division between East Carolina and Temple. Unbeaten Temple trying to go to 7-0 for the first time in school history. Great to have you with us, along with Quinn Kesnick and Ray Bentley. I'm Mark Neely. Ray, down. Look at the first half numbers. Penalties were big, especially early against East Carolina. They've already exceeded what they average for a game by 13 yards. And Temple not far away. They're just 9 under what they average for a game. But total yards really big in favor of East Carolina. Time of possession, which we thought would easily favor Temple, is pretty much 50-50.
Right, and the thing about those penalties is they were at critical times too, drive killers and things that really hurt the respective teams. I'd like to see him clean that up a little bit here in the second half. This is going to be I think one of those down to the wire deals. You've got 2 quarterbacks for East Carolina too that are kind of going a little different directions. The starter, Summers, struggled, to put it frankly, but when Kemp came in, they picked up the tempo and got things going.
Well, a few moments ago, Quinn had a chance to catch up with Matt Rule. Says his.
Coach, what is the critical adjustment that you have to make on defense?
We have to win third down. We're 5 of 10 right now in third down. We're one of the best teams in the country. 3rd and 13, we give up. The other long one. If we win third down, we'll win the game, I think.
What makes the difference for Jahad Thomas in the second half of ball games?
Well, I think we established ourselves on that last drive. They're playing really good run defense. They got everyone down. We've got people wide open. We have to catch a couple of the deep balls, and it changes everything.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, they've been a very good second half team this season. The only time they trailed entering the 4th quarter was last week against UCF. They came back and won that. Gardner from a couple of yards deep. He's tackled at about the 16-yard line. Play fake to Thomas. Walker throwing incomplete at the 32 for Saladin Major. First time they've targeted the 6'3", 5th-year senior tight end.
Almost tore the hat off of the umpire there. He had to duck out of the way. I don't know if that kind of disrupted Walker, but that was not a good throw from him. Usually he's on target when he has the time. Once that umpire in the middle of your screen, Nick Pegreen, he almost got put by that thing.
Walker's 6 of 12 now through the air with 74 yards. Came in averaging 177 yards passing up to the 25. Thomas pulled down from behind by Fred Presley.
Presley's been all over the field tonight. He's having a pretty good ball game from that defensive line spot, covering a lot of area.
That gained 8. 3rd down and 2. Just averaging 3.3 per carry tonight is Thomas. Averages 5.2 per carry coming in, and wanting a flag.
Yeah, I think he deserved one.
Jennings.
Looked like Overton got there early and bumped Jennings before the ball got there. You be the judge at home. See if you think this is interference. I thought Overton got a little bit of a bump. It was even before the end of that play, and then Overton pulled back off of it. Right there. I mean,
definitely.
That's blatant.
Yeah, that's pass interference. Alex Starzyk. Quay Johnson back at the 35 for ECU. Takes a Temple roll inside the 30 and will be down at the 26. Romare, a 49-yard punt with no return. Midway through this third quarter, East Carolina leading Temple 14-10 from Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium in Greenville. Well, take a peek at the offense here tonight. There are some similarities here, Ray, between last year's meeting on a wet night in Philly last year.
Yeah, except that East Carolina hasn't turned it over 5 times yet. And they also lead by 4 points. And so I think the yards have added up to points for them this year, which was not the case last year.
Hand off Hairston. Stephon Marshall the first to get to him. Neither team, by the way, has turned the ball over yet tonight. So that's a part of the story so far.
And I think that if we do get one, it might just be the difference maker, because this is a very tight, highly contested situation right now. Both defenses rising up here in this second half.
Kemp throws it. There's our first pick. He threw it right to Matakevich. Hit out of bounds at the 28-yard line. And I mean, Kemp threw it right in the gut of Matakevich for the game's first turnover.
And that doesn't surprise me. Matakevich from the will linebacker position is often asked to cover the flat to get a significant width. And you see how he looked up the receiver and then kind of timed it to get underneath at the right time, and he stayed out of the field of vision of Kemp. That's a wily play right there. I don't believe Kemp saw him, Mark.
No, intended for Brown. You're absolutely right. Spot on, Ray. Matakevich just stepped right in the throwing lane, and right as he turned, there it was.
And that's the kind of play that can break something open.
So our first turnover tonight on either side gives the ball to Temple at the 27 of ECU.
See if they take a shot here. They've been doing it all night on first down.
They're 0 for 5 in that department, thrown underneath and off the hands of Anderson. And that ends the third quarter. No scoring in the third quarter. A quarter that had been dominated by Temple this season, but no scoring, and it stays 14-10. Now look at the rushing yards tonight. No question that ECU has done a great job containing Jahad Thomas.
Without a doubt. Got to give Rick Smith, defensive coordinator, a lot of credit. He switched his schemes a little bit. He's got men on the outside edge, not allowing the bounce out. Thomas with just 6 bounce out yards.
Screen pass set up. Thomas somehow makes a couple of crazy moves and advances it all the way up near the 48-yard line. They look like they had him dead to rights at the 35, and 2 ECU players left in his wake are still down.
I'll tell you what, he hurt my transmission going from forward to reverse and that jump hop that he did. That's just amazing athleticism from Jahad Thomas. But the way Simmons was walking around, I think he'll be back in.
This drive started at the 2. It's a 2nd and 5. Temple at their own 47.
There's the boot.
Walker lets it fly to the far side, far over the head of Deloach.
And that's great discipline by the contain man for East Carolina, staying home and putting that pressure on P.J. Walker, forcing him to throw it away.
Deloach was the receiver who caught the pass that went for 45 yards that was brought back through the ineligible lineman downfield.
And they might come back to that one right here. It's a long developing deep crossing route that they had hit Anderson on previously. See if they go to that again.
In motion, Christopher now goes back to the far side. Walker on 3rd down and 5, and that hit the defender right in the midsection. Bigger came out.
Hit him between the 4s.
An incomplete 4th down.
And Bigger had jumped up in the air to try and bat it down, and it hit him right in the chest. And he wasn't able to get his hands down quick enough to make a play on the football, but nonetheless, he broke it up, forcing this punt.
Well, in his defense, that was the fastball.
Yes, it was. The one finger, I saw it.
Johnson back to receive this punt.
So I'm going to recant and say that that was a good timeout.
Fair catch called for by Johnson at the 12. 39-yard punt. Starzik with no return. Worst starting field position of the night for ECU from their own 12-yard line. Blake Kemp back out there. He has been the primary quarterback tonight for East Carolina.
He's been pretty good, too. 23 of 33 for 199. 1 touchdown, 1 pick.
We have Williams in the backfield to block for Scott.
Matt Ioannidis did an outstanding job. They were on a bit of a stunt, and they go lateral more than upfield when they slant that defensive line, and Ioannidis was able to get across the face of the man he was working on and fill that hole.
2 minutes gone here in the fourth quarter. Kemp throws and finds Jones. Takes a seat at the 34, 22-yard gain.
It's a really nice throw. Jones runs that post route, and Jared Alwan took a nice drop. The middle linebacker, you see him, he's going to be right in the throwing lane. It's just too good of a throw.
Here's a first down. Find Williams, the tight end. Immediately enveloped there at the 45 for just a gain of 2.
Let me give Anthony Scott the credit for that block on the last play. And now you wonder what they've slowed down the tempo now, and I think they're better off, they being East Carolina, when they go a little faster.
Kemp, Jones, first down to the 45 at Temple. Jared Alwan gained a 10. They're going to the really the #1 receiver here, Ray, Isaiah Jones.
Yeah, and they're working him right now on a lot of stuff kind of over the middle. And Jones at 6'1", 197 has the frame and the heft to go in there and take the punishment. He got it from Alwan for sure, but he's also extremely athletic. That ball was a little high, and he still reached up, and it was behind him, and he still snagged it.
Give it to Scott, coming right. Twist down at the 45. They lost it. Or was it down? Let's see. No.
It might have been down, but I didn't hear a whistle.
And they say Temple has it.
It's the second turnover.
Recovered by the defense. First down.
Of the ball game, and this one is key. You're going to get a counter yo where the guard and the tight end pull around. And let's see when this ball comes out. Oh, it was knocked out on the backside by Stephon Marshall. A reach around right there. He gets it out clean. And this is laying on the ground, and then it's a mad scramble for it. It ends up between the legs.
That's the best view there
of Jacob Martin. But that's definitely a fumble. I can't imagine that being overturned or even looked at necessarily. There's your bounce.
There is Thomas. Cuts it back. Makes a spin move. And down at the 47. Gain of 8. Tackle for Ray Tillman.
This is the time of the game where Thomas takes over. He did so last week against East Carolina. Fourth quarter. In a game that they were behind on. And he busts out for 2 long touchdowns in that fourth quarter to put it away nicely in a 30-16 win for these Temple Owls.
On 2nd and 2, he gets it again and will have the first down inside right about the 45.
You can see the East Carolina defense. They have 2 guys in what I call a wide 9 technique, where they are outside on the edge, and their sole responsibility is to wait and be patient and make sure Thomas doesn't bounce the thing out. And they've done an outstanding job of that tonight.
Walker looking to throw. Fires it to the near side, and at the 32 off the hands of Robbie Anderson. Incomplete.
And just off the fingertips of Anderson, and it appeared to me he mistimed his jump a little bit. That's that play that's been successful several times, the deep crossing route. He flattened it out this time because the corner was sitting waiting for him. Just slightly overthrown by P.J. Walker.
So it's 2nd and 10. The ECU defense has only allowed 3 points off the last 5 turnovers. That dates back 3 games to the BYU contest, but a man wide open for the first down to the 25-yard line is Kip Patton, the tight end.
And that's that pop pass that's becoming so popular in all football. You see it in the NFL every Sunday. It's a run fake and then a quick throw down the field by the quarterback. And the quarterback is the only one who knows that's going to happen.
21-yard gain, first down. Well, Thomas tackled for a loss by Fred Presley and others.
Presley did a little swim move into that A gap, and I don't know, he's a pretty wide body dude, but he got skinny for a second there and got through that little seam and blew the play right up.
At loss 3, clock running, under 4 minutes to go. Temple has all 3 of their timeouts. ECU with 2. In motion, Christopher now comes back to the near side. Walker, plenty of time. Now that time ends, and he throws. Anderson is into the end zone. Touchdown.
That same post route they've been working all night long, and the protection is the key, because P.J. Walker, when he has the time and they call that play, he can sit back there and pick you apart and wait for things to come open. And that little area in the post has been open all night, and Walker's been drilling it. You see the bottom receiver, just a simple post route breaking into the inside. Safeties are a little too deep, and that allowed the receiver Anderson to get underneath them, and then the timing on the throw was immaculate.
23-yard touchdown catch. Anderson's team leading 5th TD grab of the season. An important extra point is up and through. That makes it a 3-point game. It's 17-14. 7-play drive, 71 yards. Temple trying to stay unbeaten and go to 7-0 for the first time in school history. Have the lead again. Just 3:31 to play. The touchdown catch for Robbie Anderson. The first points of the second half for either team. And it's put Temple up 17-14. A 7-play drive, 8 up just under 2.5 minutes.
Anderson's getting some numbers going now. 8 catches, 126 yards, including that touchdown. And it's been on those deep crossing routes like that one, the first one, and then the post. The post has been open all night, and Anderson and Walker have hooked up and taken full advantage of it.
Quay Johnson's going to take a knee. So ECU, a team known for that hurry-up offense, that spread offense, Ray, have 2 timeouts, 3:31. It would seem to be maybe a time for Blake Kemp right here to make a big mark for himself.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to get it all in one play either. And that's what Kemp does best. Surgically, methodically, with accurate short throws, can move you down the field in a hurry. And I guarantee you he's going to be looking for Williams as tight end number 80 in this drive.
Williams in the slot on the near side. Kemp being pursued, rolling out, and lost the football. Now is that a forward pass that goes out at the 18? Boy, he was harassed by Martin Aguique, and that ball came flying forward. He does get a forward pass incomplete.
And let's take a look and see how he gets this ball out of here. Initially, he is looking to his left, nobody there, and then a little bit of a leg whip, and it was a throw, so it should be.
But nobody in the area. It didn't go past the line of scrimmage.
But there was not a receiver in the vicinity, and the pass did not reach the line of scrimmage. Lost it down at the spot of the foul. 2nd down.
Well, pleading his case, Mark, but there's little to argue about in this deal. I mean, he's definitely outside the tackle box as he scrambles away, but there is no receiver in the area. Well, he's got Jones there, but he doesn't get it to the line of scrimmage either. And that, you need to meet all of those criteria in order to dump the ball away. So he did have the receiver there.
Jones was about 5 yards away. Now back to the action. A quick tackle. Strong one made by Jared Alwan on Quay Johnson. And a third down coming up here. Loss of a yard.
And this is desperation time. Whatever play is your best play, it's time to dial that up.
On 3rd and 21. Clock running, 3 minutes to go. Look to the sideline by Kemp. Incomplete at the 20, off the hands of Jones. 4th down.
Stephon Marshall, a linebacker, covering Jones, the best receiver on the field, some could argue, and matched up very nicely. And East Carolina will have to punt this away, but they have 2 timeouts left. And with the clock stopped at 2:38, they can get a 3 and out and still get the football back.
Wouldn't have much time.
A little bit of time left.
Yep.
And remember that last punt, Temple got a hand on. Sharif Finch rushing up the middle got on it.
And he got it again. Loose ball. And who has it?
If Carolina gets it, if East Carolina gets it,
yeah,
it's going to be their football, because that's like a normal punt if it's across the line of scrimmage.
Well, the line of scrimmage was the 13.
How about Finch getting his hand up on another one?
Well, out of the pile, Temple has it.
Yeah, it looks,
that was
looks like
Bryant.
The ruling on the field is a blocked punt, recovered by the defense. 1st and 10, Temple.
big play by Bryant to come up with the football, but how about Sharif Finch? All right, you see the line of scrimmage is a 13-yard line. Finch is rushing right up the middle in the A-gaps. He gets through, nobody touches him, and he splits the wall and gets his hand up. And that is beyond the 13. So that is a loose football on a 1-yard punt, but Bryant gets in there and ends up coming up with the football in that mad scramble and really saves the day, because that would have been East Carolina ball. That's would have been considered a muffed punt.
Wow.
Right?
So Temple has it at the 15 with a 3-point lead. And under 2.5 minutes to go.
East Carolina will burn their second timeout.
Second charge timeout.
Temple trying to keep their unbeaten season going to 7-0. It would be the first time in school history.
And if you think back, that timeout we talked about that Ruffin O'Neal took, or McNeil took, excuse me, to get his punt safe team out there, get the defense out there. Kind of coming in like a vital deal right now.
Thomas trying to bounce it out. He's inside the 5. Tripped up. Did he get in? Yes, touchdown. The exclamation point, Jahad Thomas. 14-yard touchdown run.
He had a nice hole initially, but after that, it was all Thomas just scrambling and fighting and clawing his way. He got hit about the 5-yard line and still managed to break the plane. Right there, you got the ankle hit at about the 4.5, 5, but look at how he extends. No knee hits the ground, gets the ball to the, breaks the plane to the front edge of that line. That's all he needs. If you get the hand down, you're still alive. Launches himself, that ball's on the white line, that's 6 points.
Second rushing touchdown of the night for Thomas. His team leading 12th rushing touchdown of the year. And with that extra point, Temple has scored 14 points in the last 73 seconds and lead it by 10 with 2:18 to go.
Here's Thomas. And he's something else. The athleticism, getting the hand down, knowing where he's at, and sticking that ball out. It's interesting, you know, back in 2013 when this team was 2-10, they lost a lot of close football games, and they learned valuable lessons, and that was the big battle cry for them, learning how to finish. They had a taste of it at 6-6 last year, and now this year looks like they're going to be off to a 7-0 start with Notre Dame coming up next week.
Yeah, 2 wins in Matt Rule's first season. You and I were there for the final game they played that season in Memphis and won that game, and he said, hey, that was really a crucial win.
It was another close game, and they had lost so many single-digit games that they had a chance at the end, even had leads at the end. And for them to beat Memphis, which was also on a similar trajectory, was, I think, a watershed moment in Matt Rule's tenure here at Temple.
Guy who was just 4 years old the last time Temple was ranked. Ranked this week.
And we asked him
22.
about the national attention and how he's dealing with it. And he says, I hide in my office. He won't be able to hide for much longer.
That's Hairston out of the backfield, 15-yard gain. You know, this Temple defense not only leading the American Athletic Conference in so many categories, but really top 10 nationally in a lot of significant categories.
Yeah, it seems like 8 is their number. They're 8th in rushing yards allowed, 8th in points allowed, 8th in pass efficiency, and now Ioannidis caps his night off with a sack.
Third and final timeout, ECU.
That was the third Temple sack of the game, and ECU uses their third and final timeout. Like Kemp and ECU.
Knee was down.
Yep, catch was made, but knee down for Brown, so he's down at the 39. Gain 9 was not a first down, so clock continues to run. Throw to the far side, grabbed at the 41 by Isaiah Jones. He's needing the first down, will be close to it.
I don't think he got it, but they are stopping the clock. They're giving him the first down, so that stops the clock. A break for ECU.
I was going to say they spotted it at the 48, but at 49 was the first down, so they do spot it correctly now. A first down with the clock rolling, just over a minute to go, and almost picked off by Alex Wells.
Wells sitting in that little safety alley, reading the quarterback's eyes, and he'll have nightmares over not making that play.
He has a couple of picks this year and almost got his third. An incomplete pass did stop the clock with 1:08 to go. Temple leading by 10.
Pitching a second half shutout.
And on the run, underthrows Bishop.
That pass rush just is relentless. They come off the edge with smaller guys. It's really an interesting anomaly. They bring Hassan Reddick off the edge at 6'1", 225. They bring Nate D. Smith, 6 foot, 236. They bring the smaller guys off the edge and just speed rush.
Kemp, and right as the ball got there, so did the defender, but it's hung on to by Trayvon Brown. And he'll have a first down at the 41 of Temple.
And these corners for this Temple defense really allow Phil Snow to do a lot of things because they are lockdown type guys in Chandler and Young.
ECU can't stop the clock. No timeouts. Kemp on first down. Gives it a heave down the near sideline, and a jump ball is incomplete at the 12. Tavon Young defends Davon Grayson successfully there.
Mentioned the second half shutout being pitched by this Temple defense, and you know, this score by quarter kind of shows you the story here. The story of the season really by the Temple Owls, only giving up 29 total points in the second half all year. 7 ball games now.
Kemp fires near side and over the head of the intended receiver Grayson, and just 17 seconds to go. Quint, what's going on down below?
Well, Ray, you mentioned their Temple's mental toughness, and that's a sense I get from down here. There's a certain sense of identity, a confidence that's being built, and a toughness. This is a team that really doesn't show much emotion. They kind of ride the wave, and while they didn't play perfectly today, they made enough plays in the second half.
Kemp heaves it towards the 15, and that is picked off by Chandler. He'll take a seat, and all I have to do is snap it once, take a knee, and this will be over. There is a flag, though, back at midfield.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer.
Ooh.
Defense, number 35. 15-yard penalty. First down.
That just took Sean Chandler's third pick of the year away.
Nate D. Smith's going to owe him a dinner or something. Take a look at it, and you can see as Kemp tried to escape, he gets dumped late, and I just think that's dubious at best.
Yes.
I don't consider that a roughing the passer. I don't know what the reason. And a lot of times they say if you drive the quarterback into the ground, that might have been the case that they were trying to establish, but I disagree.
Final play of the game towards the end zone, and that one is incomplete, and that's going to do it. So Temple, with 14 points in a 73-second span in the fourth quarter, overcome a 14-10 deficit and win it 24-14. And for the first time in school history, Ray Bentley, and Temple's been playing football since 1894, they're 7-0.
And they've earned it. And you look at their resume, they continue to run the table. They'll have knocked off, well, they've already knocked off Penn State. They beat a really good Cincinnati team on the road. And then they got Notre Dame coming in next week. They should be considered possibly for a playoff spot. I'm going out on a limb here, but they got to do a lot of work left. But they run the table. I'm going to think they need to be considered.
Quint?
Thanks, Coach. What was the key to pitch another second half shutout today?
Well, our defensive kids just kept saying, what's next? I thought even the going out there and blocking 2 punts in the second half by defensive kids, we overcame shooting ourselves in the foot. A lot of credit to them. They've got a great offense, but our kids played hard.
What impact did wide receiver Robbie Anderson have?
Well, he opened the game up for us. They did a nice job of trying to take away Jahad, and he made some big plays. And they were there in the first half. We just didn't kind of connect on him. It was nice to connect on him in the second half.
What's it like, Coach? Temple's never been 7-0, and you got Notre Dame coming to the sold-out Lincoln Financial Field next weekend.
I couldn't be prouder of our team. Now, there's a lot of things. Didn't look like a very good football team at times tonight, but I couldn't be prouder to come here. There's a great atmosphere with a really good football team. Beat Virginia Tech on this field. For us to fight and hang in and come back, they showed a lot of heart and character. We just have to get better at some things.
Mental toughness, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Coach Frill, Q, thanks very much. Big win for Temple. They're 7-0, and Notre Dame on the horizon in Philadelphia on Halloween night. It's been a fun one, Ray.
Yes, it has. Impressed with the attitude and the mentality, the mindset of these Temple Owls.
Our final score, Temple 24 and East Carolina 14. Coming up next here on ESPN2 Sports Center with Kevin Connors and Jay Harris. For Quint Kesnick and Ray Bentley, I'm Mark Neely. Thanks so much for sharing this one with us. Temple 7-0 for the first time in school history. And it's time for Sports Center. So long from Greenville, North Carolina.